Well, here is a video I didn't expect to be making. I really didn't expect to be talking about hamstrings in the way that I'm going to discuss them with you, and why I think that's so important, and how I seem to have turned a corner, quite frankly. For some background, around age 55, I was barely able to move. I would attribute primarily to tightness in my legs, but also back. Also other parts of my body that were very stiff, certainly my arms and trying to play tennis, shoulder, elbow, typical stuff that you deal with as a tennis player. But I would say the number one, well, the calves were an issue, but the hamstrings and the connection to the lower back were the worst offenders, to the point where I wouldn't go for a walk more than 30 minutes. Sometimes wouldn't want to walk at all. Even walking through the grocery store, I would was very stiff. And when you see older people walking very slowly, very stiff, when I see them, I think about that. I think about how I was feeling, and I understand what they're going through a lot better. And it's one of the reasons I continue to make videos, even though, I've been up against the filter, when I talk about supplements. What turned things around for me was taking an NAD booster. I take NMN. I try not to say that too often anymore because that's led to slow down in traffic, but that's the truth. That was the big turnaround for me. I now take a whole stack of supplements. Again, they're in the description. As I mentioned here, often I take them from DoNotAge. You can use my code THEPULSE or just Pulse. That's a new development. You could just type Pulse. And it's easier and it doesn't get spell corrected, because if you make, the pulse is not a word, but, a lot of computers spell check you, and you got to kind of override that or remove the space. And that's caused, some issues for some people. But now you could just type Pulse and you'll save 10%. You'll support my efforts here on this channel. What I've been doing here is reporting back to people. And now lately I say channel because it's not just YouTube anymore. It's TikTok and Instagram. I've branched out with the content to other areas because when you talk about health things or, supplement-related things, they definitely slow down your reach, unfortunately. What happened for me is that I got a lot of energy, I got better focus, and my recovery time from sports was reduced from like a week or more to just a day or two. And oftentimes I play tennis multiple times a week, one day after another, sometimes 4 or 5 days in a row, because I play with a team, I play with a group of other men. I train myself now with the same trainer that my sons train with. And I'm playing with my sons a lot, so I'm playing a lot. And I also play tournaments on the weekend, and my sons play tournaments. I don't play every weekend, but I play often. And that recovery has been thanks to boosting my NAD levels and taking other supplements and vitamins, vitamin D and zinc and K. One thing that's been the holdout that I've had to deal with is a continued tightness in my hamstring. I've mentioned this before, both legs. Sometimes one leg is worse than the other. I'll go running and I'll have some tightness. It's not been a deal breaker. It's not stopped me from playing tennis. It's slowed me down at times. I'm a little slower than I want to be at times, but not even that much. So it's just been that one thing that I feel. Other than that, my body feels like it did 30 years ago, other than the hamstrings. And that's something I could live with, right? I can't complain because I'm able to pursue not only tennis, but music and making videos and doing other work and still have the bandwidth to do the things I need to do around the house. I can't complain at all. Things are great. Compared to 5 years ago, my gosh, I'll deal with some tight hamstrings. I also don't get sick very often, and I've talked about that many times before. That's continued. So lately, I've been coming up making videos, and I kind of feel like I've been repeating myself, and I know some of you feel the same way. Part of it is just me wanting to continue to report continued progress, that things are still going very well for me and very well for most of my viewers, because they write in the comments all the time how they're doing. Even with our reduced traffic, we still see loads of code uses And most of that is legacy stuff from when the channel was growing dramatically. People want the information. That's one thing I wish I could make social media understand. This is what people want to hear. They want to hear people report on their own experiences with dealing with health issues. Not medical advice, but just sharing your own protocols, routines, and approaches. It's an alternate way of looking at improving your health. And many of us do it. I do it. I look to other people. How are they doing? What's their protocol? What are they doing? And how are they doing? What are they saying? How do they feel? And how do they look? I look at them. People look at me. I get it all the time. Oh, you look better. Oh, you don't look better. And that's been how I've approached reporting on this channel. But I never thought I'd be able to sit here because it was years of dealing with the hamstring tightness to some extent. And I'm now proud to announce that over the past couple months, I haven't noticed it. Not that there's nothing there. I would say it's 95% cleared up. It's to the point where it's really not an issue at all. And I hope I don't jinx myself. I hope it doesn't come roaring back. When I noticed it really being an issue was about 6 months after I started my NAD booster. I started sprinting, and I was sprinting a couple times a week, plus running distance a couple times a week. And I overran. I really went all out, which I was afraid to do prior to this supplement turnaround, right? I was afraid to sprint. I was afraid to run too much because I constantly had anxiety about my body not being able to handle it, or even my heart or my breathing. So to be able to just go out and flat out sprint without fear is a big deal. So I just did it, and then things tightened up. And my lower back, everything, it seemed like sciatic nerve related. And I had hamstring tightness, really painful, and lower back issues for about 3 months. So I overreached. So I've cautioned people since, don't overreach. I was able to recover. I was able to feel better after a while. It didn't take 3 months. It took 3 months to feel like I did before. And then I've been more careful about my sprints. Even though I've been sprinting, I've definitely been more cautious about it, not overdoing it. But now when I'm out there playing tennis, I just run to a ball. I don't even think. I don't have that fear anymore, and I don't have the discomfort. And I don't have the discomfort after I play or after I run. And that has really cleared up primarily the past couple months. So that's 3.5 years of doing NMN, my NAD booster. And so people that take it for 2 months or 2 weeks and don't get the results that they expect, or that myself and most people report, just keep in mind that some things in your body take a lot of time. And, I think it's also an accumulation of fitness over the past 3 years, eating healthier, the vitamins, of course, but I definitely saw such a change when I started taking my NAD booster. I have to smile every time I say that because I'm really trying to avoid using the name too much to get, slowed down even more. But it's worked tremendously well for me. And it's still available, thankfully. The FDA tried to make it an exclusive drug, which I've talked about here before, but it's still available, widely available. And I get mine from DoNotAge, and they've been great to me. They continue to be great to me. And that's my latest update. This is an update I didn't think I'd be making. I really didn't think I thought this was the one area that was going to continue to be stiff and tight, and to some extent, and I wasn't going to get over it. So for me, I'm kind of surprised, and I think I feel surprised, so I probably look a little bit surprised about this because, I just didn't expect this one. And now, loosey and goosey, like my whole body is feeling great head to toe now. There's no but this area, it's really just feel complete, like that. Turn back the clock 30 years. That's how I feel. So hope it continues. I hope to be sitting here in 5, 10, 20 years saying, I still feel great. I hope it goes that way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.